to another episode of the Bigs Asp Cornhole Podcast.
Oh boy.
Sean and Dane are with you as always. Dane, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Just one more day of work, and then jetting off to Cape Cod. Let's go. Vacations, all I ever wanted.
Vacation, heading up to the Cape. We're hoping to meet up maybe with Brendan or something at some point, but who knows? It's going to be a busy trip.
If anyone's up at the Cape, hit us up. Like, maybe we can...
We're hoping. I heard that they might
something.
have like a blind draw on Wednesday. If we
All
could
right.
convince our wives, maybe if they're in a good mood, maybe give them some wine
And
early.
of course, we're doing the draft on Tuesday.
Not the best
It's gonna
planning on
be-
our part.
Come on, man. Jesus.
But
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
jinx.
Whoa,
Jinx.
whoa. All right. Well,
Jinx.
speaking of jinx, Dane, don't break tradition. All right. The
I
people's
know.
favorite segment in the whole world. Let the people know
It's
what we're
just
sipping
'cause
on
we're
tonight
alcoholics.
in a segment we call "What You Drinking."
What you drinking?
Well, sipping on some Juice Drop, Breckenridge Brewing, out there in good old Colorado. It's a hazy IPA. It is so goddamn good. It says soft, lush, and intensely juicy. Man, if that doesn't make you want to just put your lips on it and, go to town, I don't know what does. 7.0%. It's delightful. Get yourself some Breckenridge Brewing. Juice Drop. Sean, what you sipping on?
I am sipping on a beer sent to us by fan Andrew Petrovich. So thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate it. I'm sipping on a juicy IPA called Wicked Nectar. It's from Main Street 4204 Brewing Company. It's really good. It's super refreshing.
Where's it out of? Do you know the state?
Illinois.
Illinois. 'Cause it just sounds like something out of Boston.
Yeah, it's
Wicked Nectar.
Yeah, Belleville, Illinois. It's 5.8% alcohol, so not the strongest. It's 91 degrees here. It's about 98 degrees in the room that we're recording.
It's
so
not that hot.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
It's 84.
So it's super refreshing. Listen, excellent choice. I'm a huge juicy, hazy IPA fan, so Andrew, you knocked this one out of the park.
And as always, brought to you by our friends at Colorado Cornhole Connection. You need some cool boards, get whatever you want printed on them, they'll do it for you. Go to iHeartCornhole.com. If you use code BIGASP10, you'll get yourself 10% off.
Well, Cornhole family, okay, we have quite the episode planned for you all today. Obviously, it's more audio gold. We have 4 sets of bags to review by TC Boards. They're all stellar bags. I'm excited to go over each one of them. We're going to go over just some of the news that's kind of been coming out. We're going to break a pretty big story here, I think.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, it's what we're here to do, right? And then we're going to be joined by ACL Dynamic Duo, our friends, Josh Groce and AJ Sims.
Hell
And
yeah.
and if you haven't had enough, we're going to be releasing a bonus episode because we love all of you. And that's going to be featuring Tanner Halpert and a certain other special guest that you'll have to tune in to find out who it is.
Oh yeah,
All
I'm
right.
excited, even though I know who it is, but still excited.
But before we jump into all that, we're going to let you know what's going on in our cornhole lives in the segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Brought to you by Airwolf Athletics. I dropped the ball and I don't have my hat on today, but that's alright because I don't look nearly as good as I usually do. And a lot of that has to do with the hat that's on my head. So if you want to get sexy, go to airwolfathletics.com. Get yourself a hat. Drop the code BIGASP and get yourself 10% off.
At this point in your life, if you haven't added a set of the sexiest bags around, you're doing something wrong. That's right, folks. Blackjack Cornhole bags. You get free shipping, amazing customer service. It's seriously the best logo in the game. It's a no-brainer. Seriously?
For cereal.
For cereal.
For seriously.
Visit blackjackcornhole.com and grab yours today. Code BIGASP will save you 10% on your purchase.
Yay.
Did you... Okay, so I know we got to throw. So my son's first birthday party was this past Saturday. I didn't even bring out the boards. My wife actually recommended we bring out the boards. So...
I was not expecting to throw, so that was a delightful surprise.
So, but we were smart. We waited till all the festivities were pretty much done and over
Kids
with.
had
Cake,
to nap,
presents. Yeah,
that's the time to go.
We cleaned up for 99% of it, and then we played little doubles. It was me and our father.
Yes.
And you and my brother-in-law Nathan.
Yep.
Nathan's sneaky good.
Yeah, he 4-bagged a couple of times through there.
Yeah.
And then he would have rounds where he put one on.
And Dad's the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
We played What did we end up doing? Best of 9, I think.
Yeah.
It started off we were just gonna play like one game.
One or two. Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, we'll play best of 3.
I ended up having to get the keys to my wife so she could drive home, and I walked.
You actually walked home. Yeah. So best of 9. So it was fun. We threw a variety of bags. We threw some 724 Chaos. We threw some Tangos. What else did I bust out?
Oh Lord.
There was
so many beers ago.
That was the issue. That was the issue because we were throwing on the same side of the board.
You and
we were at least a beer a game.
Yeah, but we were also opposite every game. Like one game you'd be hot, next game I'd be hot. Like dude, it was not good throwing on our part pretty much across the board, but it was still fun.
At that point, I didn't care. And the boards weren't level, and it was just not a fun day. But I'm glad we got to go out and throw. I don't get to throw very often, so it's always fun when I do get to bust it out. Besides that, I haven't really had a chance to throw.
Neither have I.
I'll take that back. I did throw one of the series from TC Boards. I'm a huge fan of the Hokayhey bag. Threw it just to kind of, again, I'm a huge fan of it. I wanted to kind of break it in a little bit more, see how it was, because we're actually being sponsored. We're going to the Clash. The tournament we've been promoting. It's coming up in like a month.
It's sold out, so you missed the boat.
Big tournament. TC Boards is nice enough to sponsor us to go down on the trip. So we're going to be bringing a whole bunch of their bags down. If you're going to be at the Clash, make sure you find us. Check out their awesome arsenal of bags. And we're going to be throwing TC Boards all weekend.
I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Because they are nice bags.
Okay, so just a quick recap. There was an ACL Pro Shootout event.
That there was.
We had I think it was a doubles finish that we're not surprised if this team's in there. I think that they were happy they finally kind of got over this hump.
Yeah.
Adam Hissner, Cody Henderson got over the hump. They won in the round limited event. They move on to the single elimination big tournament. Yep. I think it's in October, maybe? Somewhere right around there.
Like that. It's not Virginia Beach, right?
I can't remember. Somewhere right around there. I can't remember
Virginia
exactly
Beach is Labor Day weekend.
Yep, and then singles was taken by... Who was singles? Do you remember?
You were the one that
Jay
told
Rubin.
me. Yeah.
Sorry, I was like blanking out for a second.
Yeah.
Jay Rubin. Which is ironic because this episode basically is a TC Boards episode. And he recently announced that himself and his partner, Jordan Power, are also joining the TC Boards family. So they, TC Boards, taking a big leap.
I'm just going to crack this for Jay Rubes and Jordan Power joining forces because I'm excited about that duo.
TC Boards, though, making a big leap. They're kind of a little known bag company. I think a lot of people are going to be like, TC Boards, who the hell are they?
I mean, we reviewed their Revolution
bag, which was a huge fan of, and a War Chief way early on in the show.
Both were great bags.
They made great bags. They're busting out a crazy good arsenal now. The only bag that's in their current line, the two bags that we refer to, War Chief and Revolution, we're not going to review today. We've done it previously, but big fans of the bag.
Are they stamping the Revolution?
Correct. It's
and the War Chief too?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yep. And then this one's not stamped, right?
I believe yes. Correct.
Okay.
That's the recall. But yeah, so they're going to make a Crew Cup team. That's going to be a nasty Crew Cup team, man.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of firepower. I'm excited to talk to Josh and AJ about the whole process and what they like about TC Boards and why they decided to make this move.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people wonder about, like what goes into the pros, like off season to sign sponsorships and just kind of the dynamic that goes about it. Because we were new to it last year.
Yep.
Clearly, we are seeing way crazier numbers this year because the sport has just blossomed, but it'll be fun to get their perspective as pros. I mean,
I would be heartbroken if I did not mention that one of our favorite female players in the world won women's singles. Christine Papke is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Every time I've seen Christine, I'm just like, it's only a matter of time till you're back on top because she was going through a bit of a funk. I don't think she was able to play too often with COVID
it was
going on
vintage
and
Christine
stuff.
Papke, down the middle,
Yep.
not doing anything fancy, just pouring bags in the hole. It was a very dominant performance in the
semifinals. She faced off against Sheila Roy, right?
In the finals.
In the finals,
correct, yes.
Hands off to Sheila too.
Sheila,
love you, Sheila.
Listen, Sheila Roy awesome. With a really impressive performance
Yeah.
in the semifinals against Maya Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I think she ended up winning like 19-2, something like that. But Christine Papke was clearly on a mission. She won in the semifinals 19-2, I believe, and then in the finals she beat Sheila Roy like 20-2. I mean, she was not messing around. And in a round limited event.
Yeah, I mean those are some big numbers.
Big numbers. So congratulations to Jason Rubin, Christine Papke, and then our boys Cody Henderson and Adam Hissner.
Hell yeah.
All right, so some news around the league, right? So some new partnerships have been announced. Mm-hmm. Obviously, last night we had Trey Birchfield going live.
Yeah. Which,
he
I mean,
announced
you
Alex
called
Rawls.
that one, yeah.
Listen, it was just an educated
Yeah,
guess.
you
It's
put
really,
1 plus 1, I mean,
know.
they both threw lucky bags.
That's
and
really what I was
none of the
hanging my
other
hat
lucky
on.
bags throwers
Right.
seem to be throwing it anymore, so, yeah, I mean, it's
I
going to be
thought-
a nasty duo, though.
And the reason I ended up coming to this kind of guess, if you want to call it was because, again, Trey was going to be signed with Lucky. I've been hearing rumblings that he was signed to an enormous number. It was like around 100K, something like that. Was Lucky Bags going to have enough money left over to then offer somebody like maybe like a Ryan Smith or a Ryan Windsor? I just didn't see it happening, and that would have been a pretty decent bag change for them. So to me, it made sense that you might be able to get Alex Rawls, who's a rookie. You might be able to get him a little bit cheaper than those bigger names. I think that the pairing wise, it's genius because I think their play style is almost mirror images.
It does.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it does, and honestly, like I think they both approach the game pretty similar, where it's business on the boards. Like, don't show too much emotion when they play, and just kind of go in and get the job done. But I mean, if you're Lucky Bags, yeah, obviously you pay out Trey Birchfield because the kid does it in singles. He doesn't need doubles to be.
We're gonna break this down in a future episode. All right, we'll leave obviously content for later on. With that announcement being made, now obviously not all the teams have been announced yet, right? But just with the teams that we know that are being put together, do they crack the top 5 automatically as a doubles team?
Just with how good Trey Birchfield is, yeah.
Okay.
To me, I think they would.
Just as quickly going through my head, they're right there. I think they're probably right around 5. And again, it's nothing against Alex, but
the
it's
dynamic
a big
could be
learning
shit,
curve.
and they could not play well together.
Yeah,
We've
absolutely.
seen it happen with pros all the time, so that could happen too. But to me, analytically, yeah, I mean they got to be there in the top 5.
I agree. Let's see what else we have. We mentioned last week that another small bag company also made a pretty big splash. Kyle Malone was leaving Kill Shots and going over to Tampa Bay Cornhole. That was, to me, that's one of the bigger surprises I've seen. I've had a few people message me being like, a lot of people are leaving BG Bags. Like, what's going on?
BG's just they're
just taking a different approach this year.
Yeah, they're going for the big name signings, and I mean, you watched Fire Cornhole do it and it paid off dividends. I think that's kind of the route that people are going to start taking. It's going to be the super team that they're trying to build.
One of the big things we're hearing about right now is that Cheyenne Renner, who had a historic run as a female player this last year, made it to the finals of the World Championship, losing to Trey Birchfield. She threw ultra bags, right? She made the Pink Vipers kind of the hot commodity.
Yeah.
She's now all cornhole. Now, I think, there's some jokes to be made that, maybe she was part of the whole, reason that Ultra can now throw, make bags with dots again if you give a Cheyenne Renner.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see who she throws with. Okay. Now, we had...
there's one other duo before you drop this
right,
that I
go
wanted
ahead.
to shout out, which was Morton and Cripps.
Yeah, yeah.
So Matthew Morton and Ian Cripps
very
playing
true.
together.
Yep.
So Morton's trying to play
What do
Papa
you think
Bear
of
with
that?
I'm wondering
Would you have
if
ever
it's-
guessed that?
I would not.
Me neither.
Because I honestly thought Matt was going to look more the route of joining with a veteran to maybe try to get his head back to being right, because he just tried to do too much this year. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I'm like, maybe him trying to help a younger guy and show him the right way to play cornhole each time, maybe that's the route he's looking to do.
Matt's still a young dude, and I think sometimes when young guys get into the sport so early, they lose a little bit of, like, I think sometimes they have a harder time remembering, like, why they like to play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's growing up, but he's still a kid. You know what I mean? Like, in the whole grand scheme of things, I think maybe playing with someone, I think even Mike Morton had mentioned it, I think maybe playing somebody younger maybe makes the game fun again for him. And if he's having fun, he's playing loose, that's when, to me, Matthew Morton is dangerous.
Yep.
Put away the cut shot, stop doing all this fancy stuff, go back to the old school, down the middle, and hit an airmail. Play loose, man.
Go back to making your partner better. Because to me,
Absolutely.
like, when he was just down the middle, like, it took off so much stress from anyone he was playing with, and they were slinging. So I think...
Now, speaking of another young gun, Justin Stranger also announced his partner with James Washington.
Yeah.
They have not decided on a bag yet.
I like the duo, though.
Listen, it's an odd duo, but I like it only because I've said all through last year that I think that Justin would do better. I think Justin would do better if he was playing with somebody older.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think Justin would probably agree with you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when it comes to James Washington, the guy's, I mean, he is just, he's the nicest guy in cornhole. Like, he's a great dude, and I think his approach to the game, where he still seems to have pretty good time when he plays too.
Yeah.
I think the dynamic will work out pretty well.
Now, before we get into the bag review, there's one thing I wanted to bring up. Now, this is pretty big news. It is not out there yet. I checked before we both checked. We were on all over Facebook making sure this wasn't out there yet. So it might be out by the time this episode comes out. I actually messaged Trey Ryder with a certain name, and so I put a name, question mark, and a little eye emoji looking over, and he responded.
Yeah.
There is to me, I guess that response solidifies it. The big
Can I
news.
read what the response is?
I'll say it in a minute.
Okay.
Actually, I don't want to do that to Trey because I didn't tell him that we were recording live or anything. So, but to me, his response solidifies that Jordan Campbell. We just found out today. Jordan Campbell is no longer an ACL Pro. He is being fined by the ACL, and he is being removed. Status immediately is not allowed to finish the rest of the season. It goes back to apparently something where he misentered a score back in March. And apparently, from what our sources are telling us, is that there was some sort of a panel decision that came across, and all the panel pretty much unanimously voted that this was the best route to go to kick him out, basically kick him out of the league, and to
fine it.
have some sort of fine sanction. Yeah, this is a big deal. Only it's to me, there's so many components about this, and there's going to be more information that comes out. Obviously, it has something to do with misentering the score, but it has something to do with the gambling side of it and DraftKings, and that you can't be messing around with numbers, especially when some of the things that people are betting on are PPR.
And
now, I have no idea what was misentered. Okay, I don't know. I'm assuming because a lot of this stuff is not necessarily who wins. It's based on those PPR numbers that, let's say the both players washed around. Maybe he entered in that they both hit 12 and maybe they both hit 10. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, we don't know any of the details.
But again, it's going to be out there very soon. Well, it's out there now if you're listening to this. Jordan Campbell apparently is no longer an ACL Pro. The current one half of the current world doubles champion is not going to be returning to the ACL.
Yeah.
My heart breaks a little bit because I'm a big fan of Jordan Campbell. He's been on the show several times. I'm going to be dying to get him on the show
Sean,
now.
you and I are sports fanatics.
Yes.
This might be like one of the biggest. I'm sorry, but like BS things to come out.
I'm not gonna come to snap judgment. Because,
yeah, I mean, I understand the betting lines and all this stuff, but like, there's other ways to go about it.
Well,
you can't just boot an OG pro out of the league for a minor mistake like that. But to me, it comes down to maybe the ACL needs to have scorekeepers for every single board then, because why are you putting that on your pros? And I understand that there's stipulations and everything, but like, if that's the repercussion that comes down to it, you're going to have guys nervous just standing there trying to take their score down.
It seems to me that for whatever reason they were trying to make an example out of Campbell. I don't know why. I don't know if there's some sort of backstory to this. It just seems like there's more to it, because you can't tell me that this is the only time that a score was misentered in the entire season.
And that's my prove it. That's my thing. Is like,
that's apparently they have video evidence of it.
Of his.
Yes.
But then prove that it hasn't happened across every single ACL tournament behind that, and like,
I don't think that
I'm just fired up because I'm with you. I love Campbell.
All right,
that's why I take him.
Hear me out.
I don't want to hear you out.
I don't think
fired
this is.
up.
I don't think this is done and over with. I think that there's going to be more information that's coming out. I'll be very surprised to see if there isn't some sort of fight back on Campbell's side. But again, this is just coming out now. I'm hoping maybe we're the first ones to talk about it. Yeah, again, we don't know tons of the details, but we do know based on certain people's responses that this is for sure thing. And I'm with everybody else. I want to hear more about the details. Clearly, the ACL needs to come out and make a statement soon, because it's going to be out there and people are going to have questions about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it fires me up a little bit.
Now,
I don't want to be mad at the ACL for
the reason.
Like, I just like. To me,
I think this makes it even
sad.
more interesting now, right? So if Campbell's out of the picture, you have James Baldwin just standing there by himself, looking lonely. Well, who did all Cornhole just acquire?
Exactly.
Cheyenne Renner.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems almost like that'd be a pretty big shakeup to me, if pairing those two together.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
probably
We'll see.
play very
Again, I'm
well,
just
but-
jumping to conclusions. That pairing would make sense to me, though.
Yeah, it just sucks because like that was one of the pairings in the ACL that like you never thought was gonna change. Like,
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump over to the bag review. And the bag review is brought to you by Bags Board, the maker of the original cornhole bag backpack, now offering a customized feature where you have over 10,000 options to choose from. If you need patches to go on your sweet-ass bag, Bags Board has some of the best around. So visit bagsboard.com and grab yours today. All right, so we have 4 series of bags by TC Boards, and we're going to roll right through them. So let's go ahead and start with Recall. Recall is their non-pro stamped bag.
Schwing.
It is an
Oh, it is pro stamped.
I'm sorry, I
it's
didn't
just
see
not
it.
on the other side.
I'm sorry,
It's
so
on
I
one
take that
side.
back. So all 4 of these bags are all ACL Pro stamped. This is an old school, excellent stick and slick bag.
Dude, I mean, it takes you right back to slide right days.
Yeah.
But killer template on this bad boy.
Correct. That's what I was gonna say. To me, if you look at the slick side, it's slide right,
Yep.
basically, and then you have an excellent suede. I really like the
Butter
suede on
smooth.
this.
I mean,
yes.
it reminds me a lot of 450 from local.
Now, when we
That's
threw those bags the
butter
other night,
suede.
it was super humid out.
Yeah.
They are sticky.
They were glue.
But they move. They move pretty well. There.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta throw it low.
You do. You
but-
got to throw low and hard, but again, you can be aggressive with this bag. I'm looking forward to taking these things to the Clash and throwing them in that stick and slick tournament.
Hell yeah.
Um,
and not to mention, like,
the retro.
the graphic is so dope.
Ridiculous. Wait till you see our custom bags we're getting.
Oh, all right. Now I'm
Ooh.
excited.
They're sick.
Went 6 to midnight there.
But yeah,
folks.
so this is a standard. I don't want to waste too much time on this. It's a standard stick and slick. So you have the suede. It's a 1.
Yeah.
Okay. You have the slick side, which is like a 7. All right. It has an excellent template. It's a little squared, but it has just a little bit of rounded.
corners there.
Again,
though.
we like the square template when you're playing with a slower, especially a very sticky bag. It just gives it a bigger surface area for when you're trying to push through.
Yeah, and honestly, you grab
And
those
grab
corners,
bags,
just
correct.
keep pushing it back in little by little.
The fill in it's very nice. It's like a medium fill. It's not an overly full bag. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get those stick and slick bags and they're real chubby and
It's like a
fat,
biscuit.
and they tend to kind of like just bounce and skip all over the place. I thought I could throw this one very flat. Again, for a stick and slick bag, I was a huge fan of this.
I agree, man. I love a good suede bag.
Design
Love it.
score.
Design score for me. I love this design, so I'm gonna go
It's kinda
high.
trippy.
I'm gonna go 92 on it.
Dude, that's right where
Yeah,
I
I
like it.
dig
It's
it,
kind
man.
of trippy.
It's unique as hell. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. It's something different. If I see this bag amongst any, I know exactly where that's coming from and which
Yeah.
bag that is. I'm gonna go 89.
I mean,
I like it a lot.
top 5 movie for me all time is like, why am I blanking? I was literally just watching it. Fifth Element.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah, it
reminds
does.
me of that a little bit. But
Performance factor.
yeah, I mean,
Now again, taking into
for a
account that it's
suede-
a stick and slick bag,
for a suede bag, I thought I threw it pretty damn well. I'm gonna go 74.
I'm gonna go 70.
All right.
Again, this stick and slick. It's not gonna be something I'm gonna grab every time, but every once in a while, even me and you like to bust it out and have a little fun
Oh,
and
yeah.
throw a stick and slick bag. But again, of all the stick and slick bags, to me, one of my favorites is the local 450. This is right up there with that.
Yep,
It's
I
it's a
agree.
very nice bag.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it goes like this local 450, and then like Octane Whole Shot. They're all
Correct.
like right in that realm.
Now the next bag we have is the Monster.
The Monster.
What were your thoughts of this one?
So like this one, when I first grabbed it, it kind of took me by surprise because I didn't feel much difference between the two sides.
Yep.
And it kind of plays like that too.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we were only able to throw this outside, which I think it has a lot to do with the quote-unquote slick side of this bag kind of mirroring the slow side of the bag.
Yeah.
Um,
But the slow side
It's
is
very
the same.
linen-y.
The slow side is the same as another bag coming up is the Hokayhey.
Yeah.
The slick side though, there's really not that much. It does move a little bit better.
Yeah.
Especially in humidity, it doesn't slow down quite as much. I wouldn't say it's carpet. I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like a woolly type feeling.
yeah,
It's very
it's
soft.
very linen. Like the whole bag itself is very linen feeling to it.
So slow side.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
you're considering this the slow side, correct?
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. This is
So
the
I
same
wanna
side as
make
the
sure-
Hokayhey.
Yeah.
The slow side, I give it like a, depending on conditions, because this stuff really slows down in humidity. If it's really humid out, this stuff it sticks a little bit. I would say it's like a 3.
3, yeah.
But it can, and fast bore conditions, this can play anywhere up to a 6.
6, yeah.
So
To me, it's very
similar
similar
to
to-
players material.
yeah.
It's similar. It's not the same exact stuff, but it's kind of right in that wheelhouse. If you are a, let's say like Surefire or that slow side, the new Reynolds Typhoon, you would like this. It's not exactly the same material. Plays very similar to Speedwise though, especially in the conditions. Slick side.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I felt like with the humidity we were throwing in, it was more like a 5.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of a difference there, but you can tell by looking at the fabric. It's shiny in the light, so it's got synthetic fibers in it. So on a faster board, I think it could get up to a 7.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice bag though. I love this template, man.
I think one of the things that he did really well is the designs. They're all a little bit unique, and I really liked it. I like the color scheme he went on it, going with the purples and the pinks, and the monster that he designed on the back of the bag is very solid. I like that the slick side is plain.
Yeah.
He didn't try to overdo it.
Nope.
It's kind of simple, just letting the colors pop.
It's got
and
that stamp sitting
surprisingly,
up there in the corner.
this stuff prints really well on.
It does.
I mean, the colors really pop on this. Design score for me on this one, I'm going to go a little bit lower than the Recall. I like it. I'm going to go 83.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little psychedelic for my liking, so I'm going to go 78. But the print work is still next to none. I mean, it's really well done.
Yep. All right, so now this next bag.
Do we want to do performance factor?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry,
Sean. Like the more important score.
I'm sorry, performance factor. Out of, I'm trying to think.
I'll give mine. I'm gonna go an 81 on the performance for the Monster, and that's only because I like the 2 bags to the right of it. That much more.
That's what I was gonna say.
And like, it's nothing against the Monster. It's a great bag. I think a lot of people like
any
throwing
lineup of bags you have, you're gonna have your favorite and your least favorite. I think we lined it up in the order of that we preferred them in, at least for me.
Yeah, I think my score is gonna keep going up all the way down.
For this one, I'm gonna give it 75.
Okay.
I like it. It would be a bag that the problem I have is I like the last one so much I would have a hard time grabbing this over that one.
Yeah.
But again, if you're a hard thrower and you want something with a little bit less of a slick side, this is gonna be more up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next one I'll let you take is a slow burn.
Slow burn. All right. So on the slow burn, we have it's the same slow side.
No, it's the same slick side, right? Yeah, same slick side as here, right?
Well, isn't that the slow side of that bag?
This is the slick side.
Yeah.
This is the slow side.
This is the same as the slow side.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't think you're right. Maybe.
If anything, it's the inverse of the slow side of that.
Correct.
And then the slick side is this is the same as what's on the Recall. Yes. Which is basically slide right on that slick side. But all in all, really nice bag. Basically plays like carpet. I would put money that the slow side is the reverse of the slow side of the Monster.
I agree.
I want to...
Yeah. Or the slow side is like... Yeah, or the slow side like a Hokayhey.
Yeah.
Again, this is the stuff like we don't ask these questions before.
Exactly. Yeah, we just kind of look at it and figure it out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It feels similar, but it's not exactly the same. And it's hard to tell with this dark print too, exactly seeing everything. But
great,
this is a bag that
great
didn't
template,
have
great fill.
tons of speed differential between
it doesn't, and I think a lot of that has to do with the humidity because we know slide rate. I mean, it can hold up a little bit when it's tacky out, but I mean that fast side sticked with the 7. Slow side of this one, I mean it's really carpetish, so I'm gonna go like flat 3 on it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, and but this is the bag right here that if you want to do your fancy shots, your cut shots, everything like
this would be like their version of their carpet.
Yeah,
bag.
I mean to me like this and the Monster are the 2 bags that you can do the most manipulation with if you want like hard cuts or if you just throw like a mean low bag. Like slow burn is definitely the way you want to go. But yeah, I mean it's a great bag, great feeling in the hand, a little fuller in your hand than the other ones. Yep. And all in all, like
we haven't really touched on their fill yet.
Dude,
do you like their fill?
I like their fill a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, jinx again.
I
don't think it's uniform. I think it's actually shredded.
I think that I mentioned that
large
before.
fill that's shredded down a little bit.
That's one of the things I liked about the War Chief and the Revolution so much is the fill that they use.
And he
doesn't, like you said, it's a little bit fuller.
Yeah.
I tend to like. I liked it because it's a little bit stiff at first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not super fat.
Yeah.
If it's super fat and it's slow, again, I have a hard time really throwing it without it kicking.
Yeah.
But again, I threw this one probably the third best out of all of them.
Yeah.
Design score.
I mean, this one's the simplest of all of them.
Yeah. So I mean,
But
design
it's
score.
it's such a clean, like, to, I don't know, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, like, that's just like a flame on the backside. It's so clean looking though.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's
it
so
prints
crisp.
phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go design on this one. I'm gonna stick with we'll go 83 on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it as much as the recall. It's okay. It doesn't wow me. I like it. I like the fact that you call the bag slow burn. You have fire on the other side. It makes sense to me. Like the theme kind of runs together, which I do appreciate. I'm gonna give it 85.
All right. It's respectable.
Performance factor. I did like this a little bit more than the monster. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I felt. They felt pretty similar in the hand, but for some reason I just threw it better. Yeah,
I threw it a little bit better. I'm gonna go 84.
You bastard.
Is that where you're going?
I'm gonna go one up from Sean, and I'm gonna let it rip with an 85.
Okay.
Just
now,
cause.
This next one, now I can't even remember how long ago it was. Probably it had to be a few months ago now. We reviewed the Revolution bag, which I had compared to
357.
kind of like no, the Revolution bag is more of like a pro sniper. All right, it's super hole forgiving. It's a great freaking bag. I thought that was going to be the bag that put them on the map. This is going to be the bag.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
It
Number one,
is game
dope
changer.
ass name.
Yes, Hokayhey. It means basically like kind of come get some.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's slick side, game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get anything more hole forgiving than game changer type material. Slow side is the same slow side that we talked about on the Monster. I really like it. It's very variable depending on board conditions and humidity and overall board speed. If the board is playing slow, again, it plays like a 3. If the board's playing fast, this thing can get all the way up to a 6. So it really does remind me a lot of Player's material, but it's not Player's material. It just has a different feel. The closest thing that I can remember, and I feel so bad, Josh Deller is going to give me so much shit. I can't remember. He had a bag that had a slow side that I'm almost positive was this.
Oh, that was the Supercell.
Yes, the Supercell.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the Supercell.
I agree, yeah.
I think this is actually like the same stuff that was on the Supercell.
That's a good call, actually. Because now that I see the print in it, it almost like I remember the
when I
Supercell
picked it
looking
up,
like fish scales.
Correct.
Same with this.
So when I picked it up, it felt familiar, and I remember I liked that bag a lot because I liked the slow side. I just didn't like the fill and the template.
I think we ended up donating those as well. So
I think this is, again, because I like having a faster slick side, this bag became so fucking hole forgiving.
Dude, right off the
bat.
Yeah.
And again, we've only thrown this a few times.
Yeah,
I mean, this bag's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It broke
floppy.
in extremely fast.
Floppy but full.
It looks fucking awesome. If there's performance factor for days, you can push, you can block. This bag really does it all.
You can hit the cut.
I'm saying you cut in this bag very well. I was able to sneak around if I went slick side.
I couldn't hit the flop with this one, but I like rarely hit a flop anyway.
Correct.
So whatever.
Yeah, I don't even try anymore, so I just give up. But again, it just felt comfortable in my hand. I like the overall template. Again, it's a little bit more of a squared bag, a slightly rounded corners. But this again, this feels like again, all 4 of them. Professional cornhole bags.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They feel like they're going to last for a while.
And it's a great lineup down the line.
Correct.
The one thing I think he's missing is a go-go.
Yeah, I would agree.
But who's
you figure Revolution's kind of a go-go bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see
me and you were going to have to decide on whether we're throwing this or whether we throw Revolution, because I throw Revolution extremely well.
Are we going to set a Revolution too?
I think so. Yes.
I just I love I don't know if Hokayhey. I mean, it's definitely it's Native American, so I think it would pair well with our Big Asp logo.
This was my favorite design. I had made a comment before that I was never a big fan of like the skull design, but because it's the Native American, the headdress, and again there's a theme with it. You know what I mean? It makes sense to it. I'm giving this one a solid 93. I really like the design. I like the color scheme. It's blue and red. It pops. You know exactly what bag it is. What are you going with the design wise?
I mean, I'm going 90.
Okay.
On it. I mean, I went a little higher on the recall, just because it touches the roots a little bit, but so does Hokayhey.
Now again, we have talked about before, performance-wise.
Yeah.
If a bag makes it into my bags board backpack, and again, it's like a revolutionary door, right? I mean, there's just constant bags going in and out. This is in my rotation right now.
Yeah.
It's in my top 5. I really like it. Performance-wise, for me, I'm giving a 92, which I think is right up there with the top 3 or 4 scores I've ever given.
Surprise, I'm up there with you.
If you're watching on YouTube, look at me. This is not lip service.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
it's a good fucking bag.
this is a very solid bag, and I'm telling you, this is going to be the bag. I have a feeling that's going to kind of put them on the map.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something different and you like Pro Stamp bags and you're sick of waiting 6 to 8 weeks for surefires, give this a chance. I'm telling you,
give any 3 of those a chance.
All of them.
But my performance score for Hokayhey, I'm going to 92 as well.
Okay.
I threw it very well, surprisingly, for a faster bag. Like we said, man, the thing you put it near the hole, it just melts. It's unbelievable. So give it a whirl, man. Like, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
And for the record, Hokayhey and Sue stands for Let's Send It.
Okay.
I just looked it up.
Cool.
So I figured it's perfect for a cornhole bag. Send it, folks.
All right. Well, do you hear that in the background?
Oh, I don't, because I don't even have the shameless plug horn ready. But here we go.
Shameless plugs.
We cued it. The rap horn's being cued.
Reach us at Instagram and Twitter at Big Asp Cornhole.
And Facebook at Big Asp Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. If you go to iHeartCornhole.com, use code BigAsp10, get yourself 10% off. And AirwolfAthletics.com, use code BigAsp, get yourself 10% off.
Bagsboard.com for the sexiest backpacks and patches in the game. And BlackjackCornhole.com for the sexiest bags around. Code BigAsp can save you 10%. All right. Be sure to check out Hard Drag Push. I'm actually going to drop an article tomorrow kind of summarizing all the stuff we were going over. But stay tuned as we're going to be joined now by Josh Groce and AJ Sims. And again, be on the lookout for that bonus episode that we're dropping on the same day because you know what?
Why not? You can listen to it whenever.
All right. As always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but 4-baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.
Welcome back to the interview of the Big Asp Cornhole Podcast. We are joined by ACL pros, AJ Sims, Josh Groce. Fellas, what is happening?
Hey, what's good? What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having us.
It was nice to finally meet you guys in person, man, at Worlds.
Yes,
absolutely.
I told Sean that he got pulled away by Cat, so he was gone for probably we were all worried for him. I don't know. We all kind of shot eyes at each other, like, where the fuck Sean go? But I had a good time chilling with you boys up there and watching that finals and everything, and it was great to meet you guys. And I look forward to the next time. We got to get our ass down to see you guys in Texas for sure.
Hey, come on down, man.
It gets cold as fuck up here come November. I might need some sunshine, so we'll come see you.
Hey, it'll be
shut up.
I know you guys just dropped some big news yesterday, so in case any of the listeners don't follow you guys on Facebook, which is just crazy.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Why don't you guys go and fill in the folks what you guys announced yesterday?
Go ahead, Josh.
Man, we signed with TC Boards, tcboards.com. So huge move for us, brand new company, ready to take over, national cornhole basically with this brand. If you know anything about us, we've only stuck with companies that have products that we believe in, and that goes for TC as well. So this is a big move for us. We're excited about it this season.
So let me ask you, as a pro doubles team, so you guys were obviously, I guess you guys were two of the bigger faces for BG last year. Obviously, I'm sure a decision like that go from one company that you guys had loyalty to go to another one. It's not an easy decision. What do you guys look at in a company besides just their product? Is it obviously money is part of it, right? And then let's be serious. I mean, it's a sport, and we're all trying. We want to take it to new heights.
Money talks.
But is it? Do you have to believe in what they stand behind? What are you looking for when you go for potential sponsorship like this?
So what I'll say is, and I'll take this question. We basically look for people that are like-minded, that are like us. Families, small businesses that, we have the opportunity to help grow. We've been playing for a while, but we're still young players, man. We're still kind of new in this game, even though it seems like we've been here for a while. We've been playing for 4 years, not like the 10 or 12. So like the small guy, that kind of like interests us. And I want to go on the record and say for sure, like, hey, Rich, Graham, fantastic sponsors. Like,
Oh yeah,
great guys, great sponsors. But we just had to do something different. We had a great opportunity come across our desk, man, and we couldn't pass it up, man. Like, so Cody's a great guy, man. So Josh, what you got? That's pretty much what I got.
yeah. So let's give a little shout out to Cody Rodenberger. I actually messaged him today. I'm like, how do I pronounce your right name correctly? Because I wanted to make sure
It's Rodenberger.
It's
I mean,
Rodenberger.
it sounds
Yeah,
like something out of like Rookie of the Year.
You heard me just say Cody. I was just like, I'm Cody. I'm gonna leave that last name alone for a little bit. We got a year to learn that name, so
Yeah, you're good.
Cody right now.
All right, so we were talking a little bit before we started recording. We asked Josh's opinion. We'll get to him in a second. AJ, so he came out with this whole new line of bags. We just reviewed his 4 newest series of bags coming out. What's your favorite out of the new series that came out?
So man, I'll be honest. Like when I first got the bags, like it changed for me every day.
Okay.
I started out loving the War Chief, and then I fell in love with the Hokayhey, and then I put my hands on the Revolution. And this, I mean, I'm not saying it because I signed to this company. This is the best bag I've ever thrown or felt in my hand. It allows you to do every shot. You can cut, you can roll, you can airmail. I mean, and the resin is wonderful, man. Like, I fell in love with this bag. It's called a Revolution, man. Like, it's probably the best bag I've ever felt in my life.
I'll tell you, out of all of our reviews, that was one of our first sets that we've actually done both the like design and performance overall score on.
Second highest score.
It's second highest score we've ever put on any fucking bag that's kind of come across our desk.
And this is before. Now, I don't want to like make it sound bad, but this is before he was anybody. I mean, this was still when he was small bag dude. Just happened to come out. He liked our review that we did of the War Chief like early on in the show, and he sent us a bag. And this is a bag, Josh. You made a point of this early. When you first felt the Revolution, you weren't a fan, right?
Yeah, correct. Out the box, I was like, these are too fast for me. But man, the more you play them, I promise, if you get a few thousand throws on them, a wash and a dry, you'll fall in love with them. I mean, they literally do everything. So
they're pretty much one of the most hole-friendly bags. I mean, you guys have thrown
slower
a
bags that I've ever thrown.
Well, so I was trying to compare it to something. So if I had to compare it to anything that's on the market right now, because it's what everyone always wants to know, like what would you compare it to? To me, it's somewhere between like a Surefire and like a Pro Sniper. It's somewhere in that range, like speed-wise. But it is the feel. To me, I like the feel a little better because it's loose, but it's not super floppy. Like you still have something to hold on to. And AJ, I know that's got to be a big thing for you because you grip the bag pretty uniquely. You kind of have that like that claw grip, so you like to have something in your hand.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on with what you said. Rather than compare it to a bag, I like to compare like what it actually does. Mm-hmm. And like you said, hole friendly. You can feel like the thickness on the bottom of your hand because like I like a contrast. I like a thin top with a thick bottom, and that bag serves that.
Hey, don't we all, man? Don't we all, bro?
Let's go.
Let's keep this. This is church show, right?
This is marked explicit. So
yeah, we do. Like no kids listen to our stuff.
This at night. What? This is like Cartoon Network or is this Nickelodeon? I don't know which one.
Well, according to some other podcasts, we're like fucking PBS or something. So we got to sneak something in every once in a while.
I hear you, but yeah, no, the bag is fantastic, man. I recommend everybody give it a shot. Like I said, he's got a great line of bags for every thrower. But for me, that Revolution is, I mean, it's gonna be top of the winner circles, man, for sure.
One of the things I think that you guys do so well is you were one of the first bigger name teams to hop on with BG before BG really blew up again last year. You guys market really well. Is that something that you guys consciously do? Like, do you feel like you owe it to a company? Do you feel like that's why you're in a situation that you're in now? With a new company, you'd like to help them grow, and how important like social media is in promoting your brand. Because I think you guys are among the best, and there's really not. I would say there's probably a handful, maybe 10 or 15 of you guys that do a really good job as pros. That I know when I see you, that I associate you with a brand, and to me that's important. Like I know you guys last year were BG, and you had Austin Airmail, right? I mean, I knew like you guys rep those brands so well. Is that something you guys take into consideration when you're going into negotiation and you use that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AJ and I have conversations all the time on the side of what else can we do? What can we do to push this company? I mean, kind of right now we're in a takeover takeover mode in terms of TC whatnot. We think we can take any brand to the top. It has to start with a good product. We would not be on board, like I said, without a good product in our hand. So if we didn't love the product, we're out. It doesn't. You can't buy us. It's got to be a good product. So the fact that we have a good product in hand, Cody's a fantastic sponsor and a good person on top of it. I mean, it's going to be pretty easy, I feel like, to get this bag in the hands of mass amounts of players throughout the season.
And you guys are starting a pretty good squad over there. All right. So, I mean, obviously it's no secret, right? So I think the big thing right now is everyone's trying to compete with Fire Cornhole, right? They're trying to compete like that squad team, if you want, right? So they have their big power four. You guys put together a pretty good fucking power four there. I mean, you guys got to feel pretty good going into Crew Cup. Now, obviously, it's got to be a little bittersweet, right? I mean, change is always nice to some extent, but you guys who had previously thrown with two of your good friends. Was that a difficult decision at all? Like, did that weigh at all in your guys' decision to move on?
So I'm not going to pretend like it's not. So the thing is that we have to realize that at the end of the day, this is business. And, with business, you can still have your personal relationships, but at the end of the day, this is business, and me and Josh, not that we're selfish at all, but we got to think about each other. Yeah. We still have a great relationship with the other guys. Like we still talk daily to those guys. We still consider those guys our really good friends. But like you just said, I mean, we had an opportunity. Jay Rubin, Jordan Powers, two of the hottest players in the ACL, up and coming, just to switch it up. Like, switch it up, try to do something a little different, maybe change it up. I feel like me and Josh, we were a top 10 team last year that probably didn't get recognized as the top. Like,
I want to bring that up. Do you guys feel like I don't want to say like, I don't want to say like disrespected, but like you guys really slid under the radar. Like you guys did not get any of the attention that some of the other teams did. Do you guys take that into consideration going into next season? Like, do you guys use that as like bulletin board material?
Hey, here's what I'll say. So we finished 9th in the country, and the exciting part about that for me, and AJ will agree, is that we feel we personally underperformed. So to underperform and finish in a top 9 in the country, I'm excited about next season because, I agree with y'all. I think that there were times we got slept on. We put together a great run, but to be honest, we have so much more in the tank. And with this Revolution bag and some of the other products that TC has, we feel like we're throwing some of our best cornhole that we've thrown in a long time right now. So I'm very excited about the future right now, to be honest.
That's exciting to hear. And I gotta tell you guys, it's only bulletin board material if you have like what the ACL is saying, because in every one of our drafts, you guys were always taken every single time. So I mean, we see the potential. Like I think everyone does, but maybe on the main stage, like you guys were a little bit slighted. But I'm excited to see what you guys do with these bags, because I mean, they're nasty.
Hey, yeah. Hey, you hit the nail right on the head. Like I said, we never were out of top 5 in any bracket that we ever had this entire season.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, this entire year, like we kind of had decent nationals. We had good nationals and had some bad moments in a couple nationals that, I mean, we almost won the bracket. We ended up getting double dipped by Matt Guy throwing the most amazing game that anybody's ever thrown this entire season. Every tournament we were in, we ended up losing to the tournament champions, not the bracket champions, the overall tournament champions. That happened 4 out of 5 nationals or 3 out of 5 nationals that we lost to the champions. So
yeah,
we had some tough draws, but I still, like you said, I feel like our best cornhole is ahead of us right now. And us being 9th in the country out of 128 teams kind of like is underperforming for us. But no, we absolutely know that, man, our best days ahead right now.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. Like, I'm looking over here, and he is just crushing beers tonight.
Oh, like, yeah, dude, I'm laying it down. Like, dude, I'm a day away from vacation.
Jesus Christ.
Tomorrow
like, I like feel like a pussy. Like, I'm like 3 or 4 in. Like, I look over, he's got fucking stack of cans over
here. You're slacking. You're slacking, dog.
Like,
I mean, honestly,
quit being a bitch.
The sad part is these are all like strong IPAs, and like I barely I'm just touching the buzz now. So yeah, that's the issue. But I got to tell you, boys, like the reason why I always like to take you in our drafts along with select other groups is because of your consistency. There is a thing to be said about consistency in the ACL, where they're like the elite teams that maybe do it like twice in a year, and then there's the guys that are there consistently every single time. And to me, those are the teams. And you guys are one of those teams that are right there. I mean, top 10 right now in the ACL, because you guys do it day in and day out. It's not easy. Anyone can go in and have themselves a weekend and run the gauntlet and do well. But like you guys, the fact that you were there every single time, that speaks volumes. So like to me, your guys' top 10 was very well deserved, and like never be short of that. I know you guys think you didn't play up to your potential because you guys didn't like have the big Vic, but goddamn, that consistency, man, it's not easy to come by. And you guys were maybe one of two teams, in my opinion, that were ultra consistent throughout this season. Mm-hmm. The other one I'd throw out there would be Henderson Hissner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have Guy and Graham. I mean, they were clearly.
I'm not going to throw them in there.
I think one of the things
their first national was not that great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That eliminates them from the consistency.
One of the things you had mentioned before is about when you guys had decided that you guys are still, it's a business, right? You can still remain friends. You separate. One of the things I thought was so cool is that one of the first people to share our post today on Facebook was Eddie Grittersley. You know what I mean? He's out there still promoting you guys. Like, he's with somebody else. You guys have, but to me, that shows like how tight-knit of a group you guys are. And it doesn't necessarily, you guys don't all have to stay in the same circle of bags. You know what I mean? That you guys have grown a pretty tight community. So I think that's pretty cool. Josh, last year you were, I think you had mentioned previously that you were kind of, you're battling a little bit. You're changing your throw a little bit. You're a tinkerer. Yep. You like the science and videos. Where are we at now? Like, do you feel like you're finally at a good place where you're feeling consistent again? You feel like you're back to, like, let's be serious. I mean, 2 years ago, you were the hot name coming into the ACL. You know what I mean? Like, you had big expectations, and you had a solid season this year. But I know you now. You always have loftier goals. Like, do you feel like your throw is at a comfortable spot now?
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm throwing some of the best bags I can. I had some extenuating circumstances going in the Cobs that kind of like altered my practice routines. I didn't get the time on the boards before Cobs. Probably had a pretty disappointing moment there. My whole career pretty much is like a different chapter in my life. I was number 2 in the nation in 2019. Came into 2020, what I call COVID season hit. I lost my drive a little bit, had to refind it. So 2020 was kind of a stale year. If you told me at the end of 2020, and AJ would probably agree with this too, that we'd still be in the top 10 in 2021 because it was a trial year. We were at a weird point with our relationship. AJ was throwing the best he had ever thrown. I was arguably throwing the worst I'd ever thrown as a pro. So I think the work that I put in 2021 to get to a top 10 in doubles, still be in that top 25% of the nation in singles. I'm getting better every single tournament. So for myself personally, I predict a bracket win in singles at some point this year. And I predict another national championship in doubles as well. So if that gives you any idea of the confidence I have coming into this season.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, obviously you guys are pretty tight, right? You guys get together all the time. You're throwing, you know what I mean? Like, you guys have kind of become family. You kind of alluded to where you weren't throwing your best. AJ was kind of on top of his game, kind of the fast rising player. Was there ever a consideration of, splitting, maybe going different directions, trying something new? Or are you guys in this for like the long haul?
I told him to, man. Yeah, like, so my bad. I'll be sure.
Sorry, let him be dramatic for a second, AJ. Let him be dramatic.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, I'll be short so he can fill in. But we both play that role where someone's not performing like we know. So what we do when we feel that, there was a point at the end of last season or 2020 season that I looked at him and I said, bro, I'm trying. I'm not going to quit. I can't promise you that I'm going to find that elite form that I used to have. If you need to make a change, I'll keep grinding, man, and I'll support you. So basically I gave him the option. Like, I'm not going to wait for you to ask me if you can move on. And he basically told me that, man, you stuck by me when I was figuring out who I was as a player. I'm absolutely running it back with you. And he allowed me to regain my confidence. So
AJ, what are you saying to that whole
So basically, like I said, that's spot on. Like you alluded to, like, Josh being number 2 in the nation a couple years ago. Like, he pretty much carried me to a national championship. I wasn't the player that I am right now back when we won the world championship. it was on the back of him. Like, I was basically good enough to get us through, get enough to help us perform, but he was pretty much the best player on the court no matter who we played against. So there was a time where he needed me to step up and be that guy. And I was like, you know what? He showed me the formula. He showed me the formula that if he does this and I do this and maintain, we will win games. Well, basically the roles were switched and he needed me to be that guy. And that's what catapulted me into being the player that I am today, you know, where I ended up having an amazing finish last year, in doubles, having some of the highest PPRs in the entire tournaments, you know. And like I said, here we are both together in a top 9 finish. That's hard to do. You go looking at doubles top ranking, and you will see that players that you believe in ain't even nowhere close. Some of the top players in the world ain't even nowhere near the top 10. So for us to make a top, you know, Josh say top 9. For us to be top 9, you know, in the country, that means something to me. And we're not even playing our best cornhole when we're top 9. So just imagine when we bring it back together. Like I said, I feel like some people are sleeping on us.
Let me ask you specifically to you.
Mm-hmm.
Josh came in and, you know, he made a big splash, right? He came in as, you know, a high-ranked player, big expectation. Right. You kind of came in as like the little brother, right? You know, you were tagging along and carried you. Do you feel slighted now? I mean, because you've been playing well, man. Like, I feel like you don't get enough respect around the league as to how well you're playing. I think a lot of people, you know, listen, I've heard of people say it before, and people have said, you know, like he got when you lost to Jamie Graham, right? We talked about this before. You didn't have your best match. It can happen to anyone on any game. But going up to that point, you were throwing arguably one of the top 3-4 best people in the country. But I still feel like you're not respected enough. Like, do you kind of get that sense a little bit? Like, does that bother you at all? Or do you say, like, you know, it doesn't bother, I'm just going to show up and throw and, you know, fuck it?
So it used to bother me more on a local level because you had Eddie and you had Josh. And these are guys I'm with every single day. They know exactly what I can do, but I still wasn't getting the respect that they were getting. When it came to the national stage, like the national stage, there's so many players out there that isn't getting the respect that they deserve anyway.
I agree.
You can't see every match. You can't see every moment. You can't see every situation. So I used it as fuel, but to be honest, it consumed me so much that I focused on that too much. And I think ultimately that ended up costing me in big moments where I needed to be focused. And I think now with all of that behind me, now I'm just playing cornhole again. Now I'm ready to bust whoever I line up with. I'm ready to bust their ass. Like that's where I'm at. I don't care. I feel like I can beat anybody in the country. I feel like I can play anybody in the country, and that's what I'm going to. I'm not worried about.
Do you think that's a natural transition? Either one of you can answer this. Do you think that's kind of a natural transition that you go through as like a professional player? You get in the league and you're excited, and maybe you have a little hype because you're the new guy, and then maybe you don't get the respect you thought you were going to get, so you kind of get mad, you know. But then you learn to kind of deal with it. Is that just all part of being, you know, a growth as a professional player?
Yeah, I would agree. I think sometimes getting notoriety messes you up because you now have to worry about, like, they're picking certain people to be in the PlayStation game. Oh man, I didn't get picked to be in the game. I'm not notarized. I'm not getting picked to be in Superhole. You know, I'm not getting notarized. And like, you start focusing on that and you start leaving the craft of the game. I think that everybody can beat everybody, but whoever is mentally strong, that's who's going to take it out in the end. So if you're focusing on other things other than throwing, you're setting yourself up for failure.
You had kind of mentioned a little bit that when you go, and now this year coming up, more so than any year, there's no more gimme games. I mean, any match that you go into, someone can beat you on the boards. How are you guys looking at it going into the season? I mean, arguably last year was the most talented rookie class ever, right? I mean, it's going to go down to, it's like some of the best cornhole play. I mean, obviously you have Matt Guy and you have Eric Davis and some big name guys like Steven Bernstein had a great year. But this year, I mean, I hate putting it this way, but you're kind of weeding out some of the weaker players, I guess. Like, so there's no more gimme games. How are you guys? Does that change your mindset at all going into it? Like, now that, you know, no first round match is ever going to be a gimme. There's no more bad draws because every draw is stuck.
For me, not really. I mean, I'm not one to try to, like, say I had some tough draws in singles, but this whole season I had hard draws.
You did.
And
no, you did though.
You really did.
You did, yeah.
I mean, dude, I had James Washington game 1 of National 1. I had Matt Guy game 2 of National 2. So like, I don't know. I initially that did actually bother me because for whatever reason, I felt like I needed to get my wheels rolling to get rolling. But in doubles, to be honest, we really didn't have, you know, I wouldn't call any of our first games easy. And the way we play doubles is we normally make deep runs before we drop off. Therefore, in my opinion, we never really had too much of an easy game, anyways. In National One, in hindsight, we actually took an L, but we had Chad Webb and Jordan Power, who you would later find out are capable of winning an entire bracket. So,
Your wife.
time,
Your wife reached out to me, right?
no, I didn't.
So in the first, we happened to be on Mark Isley's podcast, and we did a draft for the first National One. And we told him we did not want to do a draft because we had already set up to do a draft on our show. Well, he was a dick and he threw it out anyways, and he made us draft people. Well, we didn't know what the brackets were, so I drafted you guys, but I also and we had to draft one dark horse team that nobody had really heard of, and I drafted Power and Webb. Well, me, you guys ended up playing each other first round, and your wife reached out. She's like, that they play each other first round. I'm like, no, I didn't, because the only one that had the brackets at the time was Isaac. So he made us draft teams. He was the only one with the. So anyway, I thought it was funny.
$50. No, I don't.
So
That's all right.
But
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Hey, one thing I will throw in here, going back to kind of to like the confidence in your partners and whatnot.
yeah.
Every day we play now, I'm finally back to a point where I'm playing games and I'm genuinely pissed if I don't win. So I had that part of me my whole career except for like 2020, and I got okay with losing. Like AJ was like, "This is stupid." He's like, "Oh, like what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Dude, it's like you don't even care if I beat you sometimes. Like it just doesn't. It's not the same vibe." So now I'm back to where I hate to lose. I don't want to lose. I get a little not like mad, but like internally I'm like, man, that's got to be better than that.
Losing sucks. You should be mad. Like
Yeah.
listen, we played at my son's first birthday party after we cleaned up all the stuff and I wasn't getting in trouble with the wife. We played doubles. It was me and Dane, my dad, my brother-in-law. We played doubles. It was supposed to be one match that would put the boards away. We ended up going best of 9 because me and him couldn't if he won the last one, I'm like, well, fuck, we're not walking away yet. Like we're running it back. Like I think it's a good thing, like to have that competitive drive. But what changed all of a sudden? Like you keep talking about 2020 and just lackluster. But like what switched? Or is it just kind of
I
happened?
feel like you found his throw again. Now he's not like
Is it a confidence thing?
like you're.
So I won't bring up too many names, but mental health in the game is actually a pretty significant factor to being a pro. And what I'm talking about really is like if you happen to get anxiety or depression or anything like that. I had some mild anxiety that I was dealing with, and it kind of like made it to where Bags, for whatever reason, it wasn't just Bags, it was like everything kind of stressed me out. And I don't know, I think personally COVID and me having to stay homebound. I work from home, my kids was home every single day with me, and my wife works from home. So I think for whatever reason, I got absolutely just I don't know, burned out on the way things was going. So I think now that things have opened, things open back up. And I've talked with a lot of players, man. You can imagine some of these big name players that are world champions have literally experienced the exact same thing to the point that.
Let's throw out a name. Like I've mentioned it before. Clearly something was going on with DK last year. I mean, you don't sit there and double clutch 18 times per round unless something was going on. I think it's great that you guys are bringing it to the forefront and making it seem like, you guys are professional athletes. People forget about this stuff.
And this game is also 99% mental. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you have your skill, it's all about the mental.
And I'll go on record as saying this is one of the most powerful things that helped me. So DK was a huge part to my recovery, funny enough, because he still has his stuff he works with, but we talk a lot. And the second that I decided to stop chasing who I was in 2019 and create a new me is the minute that I got better. Okay. So literally, if you ever find yourself going through something where you don't feel like you used to, stop trying to find that person. Create the new you. Look at the future. Stop looking at the past. And for whatever reason, that particular thought process really helped me. Eddie and AJ obviously were very key to kind of get me out of that funk and making me fall back in love with the game as well. So
that was it was perfect timing. That was actually one of the listener questions. They had asked, like, if you find yourself in a funk, and maybe AJ, you can chime in on this too. if you've ever find yourself like in a throwing funk, like what do you think is the best way to get out of it? Do you just suck it up and just throw through it and go? Do you feel like taking time off and don't throw a bag for a week or so is best? Like, what do you find works best for you? Or are you just so good you just like you never had to deal with that before?
No, I mean so we all got other stuff going on. Like we work full time. We both got multiple kids playing sports. So my advice to anybody out there, if you do go through a certain funk, the first thing you do, you gotta identify it first. You gotta identify that something is going wrong, something is different, and sometimes taking a step back to just look at other things. Maybe take a week off from the game. Maybe find your joy. Like, because we all had a point where this was fun to us, and now it's pressure.
Yes.
If you want sponsors, you got to perform. If you want, this stuff isn't cheap to go out, and
especially now when you're talking about big money now that's been thrown
Right.
around. Yeah, I completely get it now.
Yeah, sponsors don't pay for people that don't perform, so there's a pressure to do that. Plus, like I said, I have 4 kids, so I can't do this for free. Like I can't take from them, so I got to perform.
If you're listening to this, I want you to just know that he pulled that phone in so close to his face when he said that. He can't do it for free. He's got 4 kids. You know, it's up to you. Do it for free. That's good stuff, man.
Hey, guess what? Cody understands that very well, and I appreciate.
I bet. Listen, I want to, or just while we're on a random topic, last time you were on the show, you had talked about you were coach, you were dad coach. Are you dad coach again this year for football season?
Yep. We draft on September the 2nd, our football team. So
do you guys have like little tryouts, like combine and stuff?
Hey,
I mentioned like a hammered, little draft of it. I think things get a little heated.
That'd be great.
Hey, they do.
All right. Me and AJ might not play together next season if he makes me coach T-ball one more time. Oh man, I'm T-balled out,
terrible, man.
T-ball,
horrible.
but you coach football too, right?
I coach everything. I coach football, basketball, and baseball.
What's your favorite sport to coach?
My favorite sport to coach, let's see, probably basketball, because basketball
less to manage at one time.
Yeah, basketball was my baby. Like coming up, like I know I'm so tall and I had all these scholarships, but basketball was my baby, man.
Don't you?
Oh yeah,
I baby fade. Sean's fucking fade away just because I grew up a little bit taller than him. I mean, dude, it's butter. Like it drives me nuts because it's the one shot that I can't block with my height, and he learned it. So I'm sure AJ, you got the same thing.
Wait, did you play football? I mean, you guys grew up in Texas. Did you play football at all, or?
I played a little football through 10th grade, but I love basketball too much. So
I got you.
I love basketball. Josh was the baseball guy.
I'll say I know you were baseball. Were you didn't play football at all either?
I did. No, I played baseball and basketball. I'm
Okay.
too little for football. I mean, I get broken. Again, I get broken.
I played baseball football up until high school, and then I realized like, holy shit, I'm 5 feet tall, and I'm playing against a bunch of giants. Granted,
That's kind of
senior year I grew up a whole lot. I grew like a foot and a half, but I mean it took a while.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I did. I took a step back and I said, man, I have great hands, but my speed is average. And at that time, I'm pretty skinny now, but I was a twig. I was smaller than Eddie in high school.
With the three of us, you're real skinny, man.
Yeah, I mean, like who are you talking to? Like,
Hey, speak for yourself, dog.
I didn't say you were sexy. I mean, let's be serious. Okay, so I wanted to say Tim Heller was the one that had posted the question about kind of being in a funk. One of my favorite questions, AJ, you actually kind of commented on it, which I thought was hilarious. Nicholas Howell wants to know, okay, so stay with me for a second. It's back to school season. If you had to go back to Cornhole College, what class are you going to take to improve your game? And he said, like, example would be like cornhole math, senior level airmailing, roll shot, 101, something like that.
So I'll tell you this, like the comment I put on that was the truth. The most underrated bag in cornhole
Putting it on the board.
Backing up a blocker.
Oh, yeah.
Putting it on the board, backing up a blocker. That's the most underrated, because if you miss that backup, you giving up 2 points.
Yep.
And that's, if you don't get it just right, like, so flopping, that comes natural to me. Airmailing, that comes, you know when to do it. But if you miss a backup, it can change the whole trajectory of the frame. It's one of the hardest shots in the game.
What about you, Josh?
I think he's dead on, man. I can't count the amount of times that if you just get behind it, they've got to shoot an airmail to throw an 8. If they miss, you're going to get a 5 on a 10-8. And if you miss, they're going to drive that push for a 10-10 wash. So you're talking about a 5-point shot on just understanding how to back the bag up. And funny enough, it's one of the hardest shots for most people. So I got to agree with that one.
It's the reason why AJ posted it as advanced level,
Yeah,
putting
it's
it on
true.
the board, because honestly, dude, it really is. It's such a mind fuck when you
Right.
need to drop that bag right behind another one.
Right.
I mean, I was going to throw one out here, and I think all of us can kind of agree on the same level to just dismiss it because it's absurd.
Okay, cool.
From Rob Law, he asked, "Is seltzer a beer?"
No. No.
Thank you.
No.
All right, yeah, we're synonymously a no. Rob, get
It's a
out. That's
seltzer.
not even a question.
All right,
That's
one
like
of
a
the-
wine cooler.
Exactly, right? Yeah, like the high
like-
school wine cooler when all the girls were drinking the wine coolers in the corner, and then like you had a stiff Bud Light in your hand. You thought you were a badass because your drink had bubbles, but really yours had twice the alcohol in
Or it's
it.
like boxed wine. You guys ever play slap the bag?
Oh, slap the bag was a fun game.
Hey, you
my
got to be
wife-
careful though. You got to be careful talking about those seltzers because you might have the alphabet community come after you, cancel your show.
listen, one of our sponsors is Nick Feinstein. He is basically the reason they
Yeah,
came up with the no laws for the
Yeah,
clause.
no
I mean,
clause for
yeah.
the clause.
Yeah, let's be serious. Okay, so one of my favorite questions, it's kind of random. I love it though. Maxwell Smirka wants to know, would you rather lose your thumb on your throwing hand or the entire hand on your non-throwing arm?
I'm gonna let you answer that one first.
So I claw the bag, so I'm gonna say thumb because I'm still good.
You're still good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
grab
yeah,
it
that
like
makes
this,
sense.
so-
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
surprised
I'm
you
good.
took that as like a full-on
I'm
like
good.
cornhole question.
No, I mean, like, I like it though.
Because I
Hey,
mean, honestly, like
So-
there's other activities in your life that like imagine not having your thumb. Like it would not be nearly as enjoyable. But it's all right.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. So for me, my left hand, I'm not that bad left-handed, so I might could deal with no thumb on my. I might could deal with no thumb on my right hand,
We'll credit your wife.
and just try to make an adjustment and get my left hand game going. You know,
Hey, this
so
question might offend some people too.
man,
I
I'm
mean,
legit
we're talking about you guys are both righties, so I mean, we're obviously talking about non-dominant hands. So those lefties in the world, come on now.
Yeah, because some people don't have no hands. So
Yeah, and you know what? Some of them people's
true.
badass.
Shout out to Dane Weber, our
Shout out
boy.
to Dane Weber, who I mean,
Dayton Weber is
no hands all day. So.
He's a beast, man. He's good,
Love
man. We love that dude. Okay,
Yeah, he's
let's
super
see.
super good.
Jay Baker wants to know, what's your favorite shot to throw other than like just a normal slide shot? Josh, I have a feeling I know yours. AJ, what's yours? So is it like a roll, block, airmail, flop, roll? What's your favorite?
my favorite is a cut bag.
Okay.
Like to cut around bags. Like I feel like I do that. Like there's a couple players I'll name them too. Devin Harbaugh, Noah, Tyler Cobb, KB, like players like that can hit those like shots, but a lot of players can't hit them like that.
No.
So like, I mean, it's a lot
Well,
of
you're
players
a
that can't.
lefty, so it's not even fair though.
I mean, but still, like
People have to think backwards against you. You know what I mean?
That is true.
So
Yeah.
people forget I'm left-handed and they block
Yeah,
the
no,
wrong
sure.
side.
I know. Yeah, I bet. That plays a
I'll
huge
give 3
advantage.
points that way too.
Oh yeah. You listen, I bet you could get off to a sneaky good start against some people just because like they're so used to trying to put a block at a certain spot and they're just helping you out. They don't even realize it.
Yep. I mean, it gets me about 4 to 6 points. After that, they figure it out.
Now, I gotta be honest, AJ. When you hit that cut shot, every time you just have like a little like metal notch in your head that just goes like, it's just like knocks down and be like, yeah, bitch, like I got it.
Hey,
Every
no.
time that I
Hey,
hit it, it just hits my head, and I'm like, yeah, you thought you blocked me, but guess what? You didn't. Like,
hey, can you cuss?
every time.
Can you cuss on this show?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can.
Oh yeah. I'll be like, hell yeah. You can't fucking do that shit. Like, I mean,
There you
I
go.
already know. Like, literally, when I go to play, I'll hit a shot and I'll be like, yeah, you can't do that shit. I'll be laughing in my head, and then I'm playing somebody like Devin Harbaugh, and they be like, oh shit, you did it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm always surprised, but I work on that
My
shit a
favorite
lot.
one is when you just like lay it right on top of that block, but like push it a little left, and then like you're still sitting square, but you're on top of their bag a little bit, and you just completely detrimented their whole block because you're just like, well, not only did you push it out of the way, but you're also sitting on top of it. It's like, yeah, that happened.
Josh, what about you? What's your favorite shot?
What was your guess?
I would have thought a cut shot because I just know that naturally when you first started, you were kind of a cut shot thrower. And to me, like, and this is before I like the Devin Harbaugh. And when I first started watching cornhole, you were one of the first people I saw. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like his bag goes right to left. And it was so foreign to me because I could only get the bag to go from left to right. And you were one of the first people I really saw manipulate a Reynolds bag that consistently threw a cut shot as like your normal slide shot.
So the funny thing is, I kind of like have somewhat lost some of that right to left shot during that struggle process. But what I did develop is an even nastier reverse cutter.
Dude,
so
I think I love it. I stopped fighting it. Listen, when I figured out I couldn't throw a roll shot, right? I could throw a decent airmail and I could slide. I figured why fight it? You know what I mean? Like let's just perfect something that I'm good at. And I can get a left to right kick. So I just play with it. I mean, fuck it. I mean, why fight it?
Yeah, so me and AJ, it's funny because when we play each other, like we already know each other's strengths, and like a shot that we would never be kind of like hanging our head about against each other, we know we screw up. If he leaves one slightly, even slightly to the right, I'm reverse cutting it and going to bully it in the process. If I even leave one slightly to the right on him, he's doing the cutter. Even if it's a good shot, like he cuts right around it every time. So it's like, it's the cutter, man. It's a great shot, really.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, to me, for a righty, it's easy because we just have to be lazy. You just don't put your palm up to the ceiling. You know what I mean? You just kind of let the bag go and slow it down.
Well,
so
it's funny because people ask me how to throw the reverse cut, and I'm like, I mean, it's kind of what most people start with, like just kind of like the tilted, like, I don't know. So
that's exactly what it is. But like, I mean, I'll be honest, like when you guys throw it, like I said, Sean's reverse cut is nasty. I mean, it's pretty much the equivalent of my right to left, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think maybe you have a better reverse cut because you play against a lefty all the time.
That's possible, man, because I also played inside arm a lot, and for whatever reason, I don't know. I used to have both shots, and I'll be honest, if I ever find the standard cutter like I used to have it, I'll instantly be just so much better.
Gosh, I'll be honest, you don't need it. You don't have
it.
I think it's like as long as you can find some way to put a bag halfway in the hole, no matter which way you cut it, and then drag it with an airmail or something like that.
I had actually mentioned that to him. It was like just like last week. I actually told him typically when we play doubles, I would always be arm outside. I'm actually a much better arm inside player because of that cut shot. Like I just feel like if someone throws a block, I don't care. Like as long as I have a sliver of the board, I can still get it to go around.
I'm starting to become the other direction where arm outside as a righty, I feel more comfortable because my bag's naturally starting to go right to left. So it's just like it's a harder shot to block. But when I'm locked in, like it's money.
We've been playing on a hill lately just to get ready for Spencer's. I know it's in a fairgrounds, but like just in case we've been playing on like some uneven surfaces, and it's really tough to cut a bag up a hill.
Oh yeah, it is.
You just gotta keep it low, man. Yep. Keep it low and get like 3 inches up the board, and hope to God it works.
So switching gears just a little bit, are you guys are football fans though? Are you guys NFL fans?
AJ
Cowboy.
Sure.
All right, so I'm sorry.
So
all right, let's. I'm sure. Are you like? Have you been watching like Sunday nights like a ritual for you, like to watch HBO right now?
Yep.
Yep. So okay, so let me ask you. So are you guys big into fantasy football at all?
Yeah, I play in like 3 leagues.
Okay, all right. So
I don't have time.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you. So you guys. I mean, your guys' offense is decent, right? I mean, you guys aren't the Browns or anything, but I mean, you guys are getting there. Like
you finally happy about
exactly. We're finally able to say it. So
we never.
Okay, so serious question. As a guy that's a big fan of there, you have obviously. I mean, you guys have 3, let's say 2 stud receivers, right? That you could arguably getting drafted right around the same time. Getting drafted around the same time. Who's going to be at the end of the season? I have a name in my head. Who do you think is going to be your wide receiver one when all said and done?
You got the same answer I got. It's gonna be CeeDee Lamb. Absolutely. I already know. Like
He's a beast, man. Holy shit.
He's a monster, dude.
I mean, honestly, Cooper's going to have.
He's about the size
he's
of
gonna have
Josh,
his
and
get,
he's just a
but
monster, man. It's just crazy.
CD, man, that gets so elusive.
Now, let me ask you, all right, because I have the 10th pick coming up in a draft tomorrow in a big money league that we're both in. All right, so I got the 10th pick. It's a 10-man, 2-quarterback league. I typically like to go running back. And I'm thinking because he had such a shitty year last year, I'm thinking a lot of people are going to be sleeping on Zeke. I'm expecting a big name. I'm expecting a decent season from him. You're expecting him to bounce back. Now, we're big Zeke fans. He's an Ohio State guy, so I think it's
Zeke is there. I'm the pick before you. You're not.
Are you 9?
Yeah, I'm 9.
Oh, I didn't know you were 9.
Yes,
Okay.
You're not
All right. But, like, regardless, do you think he's going to have a bounce back season?
Oh, have you been watching Hard Knocks?
No, I have. Listen,
honestly, as long as Dak stays healthy, I think Zeke, they're synonymous to each other.
I want him to.
So
I'm a huge Zeke fan. I really am. Last year I think that he was a little heartbroken that his boy got hurt, and to me,
best thing that ever happened.
It's better to take the year off. They should have, when Dak got hurt, you should have put everybody on a shelf and just been like, "This year's a wash. We're gonna keep you all fresh for next year. Thank you very much."
Best thing for ever happened to him is that people start sleeping on him and not talking about him. They weren't having success. They started talking about Tony Pollard coming in and taking more reps. He wasn't in shape. Now
he's finally rolling the shirt up again. You know what I mean? He's got the six-pack back. He's not rocking the keg anymore. It was good.
Yep. So now he can just play football and quit letting dogs bite people and stuff.
I got you. So, Josh, one more question before we let you guys go. I got to ask. I know you're a big band, like your bag, like your custom bags, right? You have this Panda, and you're rocking your Panda squad right now. What's the deal with the Panda? I got to ask. I've never asked you before.
Man, it's pretty basic, really. So, y'all see the Gangster Panda design with the Revolutions by chance? So, if you haven't, go check my page out. I got a new design coming out with.
No, I did. That's why it reminded me of that, and I saw your shirt too. It looks.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, man, that's pretty basic. So in the beginning, we just called ourselves Zebras. Like AJ's black, I'm white. It's kind of like really simple. But then we decided a zebra wasn't mean enough, so we decided to go with the angry panda. And just
panda, it's an underestimated like predator in the world.
Yeah, so it's just that simple, man.
Like eucalyptus and stuff, so nobody has any idea the thing when it gets going. And it's gonna rip your face off.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, yeah, you want to fall in a panda cage, you'll be in trouble. So don't fall in our cage, you'll be in trouble. But yeah, man, so it's really that simple.
That was way better than any answer I would have hoped for.
Yeah, I loved it.
That's great.
Hey, it started out as an inside joke, and now it's like an alter ego. So that's kind of what we go into Panda Squad mode.
I like that. I like Panda Squad mode. All right, I like that.
Panda Squad. I mean, when you guys do another jersey release, please let us know because I will give us something.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, so we probably we've actually talked about cooking some stuff up apparel wise this season, possibly under a new company that we launch that we look to be something we do for many years to come. So I'll be sure to hit you guys up first.
Popular. I think you'd be surprised. Yeah. I mean, for sure.
It's different. I love it. So
we'll have you guys hang on just for a minute. We're gonna let everybody else go.
Hell yeah.
But thank you guys for coming on. I mean, I think you guys are our first 3-time guests.
First 3-time for sure. I mean, definitely as the duo.
Yeah.
I think.
Hey,
Josh, you might have been on. This is your 4th time. Yeah, this is both your 4th time.
That's why I lost track.
You guys are both 4 times.
Josh, you reached out to me.
Time, right?
Listen, Josh reached out to me last week and he said, "Hey, we have an announcement to make. Can we come on the show?" I've told you guys repeatedly, anytime you guys want to come on, you're more than welcome. We have an open invitation. You guys are welcome to come on. You guys are easy to talk to. It makes our job way easier. I don't have to do any research. I can just sit here and drink beer and talk to you guys. Obviously opening invitation.
We didn't have any questions lined out, so I mean that's how it rolls.
Well, we appreciate you guys' time. Congratulations with TC Boards. We're actually we're excited. We're Cody's sponsoring us to go to his big tournament in Iowa, so we're going to be throwing TC Board bags all weekend. So we're excited. We're trying to decide. I'm trying to convert him over to the Revolution bag. So
it's either Revolution or Hokayhey, one of the two. I love them both.
We'll see.
Revolution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I'll convert them before we get there. I'll convert them. But make sure you guys check out TC Boards. I think is it tcboardscornhole.com or is it tcboards.com?
TC Boards.
All right, tcboards.com. Check out their whole new lineup of bags. I'm telling you, it's
Get yourself some.
fucking great
They're
quality.
good, man.
All the way
Top to
from
bottom, man.
stick and slick all the way. They have something for everyone on there, so make sure you guys check it out. They're gonna be they're gonna be the next big thing. We've said this before. We've called them before. We called Kill Shots before they were there. We called 724 before they were there. TC Boards is just the next company that's gonna blow up. So
Unique
you hop
fabrics
on
that
now.
just are operational beyond belief. Like, I mean, you'll feel something unique in your hand, but guess what? That thing's gonna fucking work for you. So check them out.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. We'll let you go, and we'll have you guys hang on. So take it easy.
Later.